What's up, everybody? My name is Javon, and you are now watching the JVaughnology Podcast. Hit. All right, everybody. It is a new day, new dawn, and the podcast has now officially have like my own little, I guess, theme song beat at the beginning of it. If you are hearing it, once you heard it, I do want to give a shout out to Nita for making the beat. I actually was supposed to be using it for a YouTube video, and then it happened that I really liked it, and now it's going to be my podcast intro. So we want to shout out Nita. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And let's get into this podcast. So today's topic is going to be about the difference between 30 and 31. For me, it was a big difference. And it's so crazy, like looking back at it, and I really didn't think it was gonna be a big difference because I thought like once you get into your 30s, like you're gonna be a beast. Like you'll have so many things put in perspective, and that did not happen at all. Um, 30, like I would say going into my 30s, I was so ready and I was so excited to be 30 because I felt like I would be 30, flirty, and thriving. Honestly. Um, it's just very disappointing because there was a lot of things that I didn't have already. I had goals that I wanted to accomplish before I turned 30, and I did not accomplish much of them. I'm trying to think if I accomplished any of them at this point, but I think I accomplished a good amount of things. But the main thing I really wanted was to have a house by 30, which didn't work out, and that's okay. But it's just 30 wasn't as good as 31. Like it's just a totally different. So I would say in my 30s, I definitely would say I had self doubt about a lot of things because everything was not aligning the way I wanted it to. I did go on a trip by myself. If you haven't heard about that, you can check out my YouTube channel. I talked about me going to um, Dominican Republic by myself. It wasn't on purpose. It happened because people fell out, or it was a lot of chaos around that time. I can't really distinctly remember, but it was a lot of people dropping out, which is okay. I'm not bitter about that. But it just was me by myself, and I felt like it was a good experience because I got to have time by myself and I also got to go on a trip by myself. But I would say I didn't like it because, of course, you would want your friends to be with you when you're turning the big 3-0. But it's fine. So back to 30, I feel like there was a lot of self doubt that I kind of still needed to get over, which I thought I worked through before I turned 30, but with therapy and everything. But looking back now, I don't think so because I was willing to kind of like 30. I was so, how can I say this? So when I turned 30, I expected so many things to be right in my life. Like when it comes to career, relationships, friendships. Like I thought all of that was gonna be perfect by the time I turned 30. Like I was literally working myself up to be able to have this stuff all handled when I was 30. Like I made sure when I turned 28, like, okay, we're gonna be working towards getting a house at 30. Like this is what's gonna happen. And life lifed and it lifed hard before I turned 30. I feel like I really understood that I need to make a lot of decisions that are going to be permanent decisions that will be able to benefit me, not doing in the spur of the moment. So I did start around, actually, it was like right after my birthday, I started working at a retail job. And the job, I thought that was going to be the end all be all, which is really unfortunate because I really thought that I was going to grow with this company so much that I would be able to retire from it. Because the thing is that I don't want to have job to job. It just happens because I'm not going to be willing to settle and deal with just BS. And it didn't work out that way, which was very unfortunate. I would say like around, if I give you a timeline, I would say from August is when I started, like a week after, so September, all the way until I was with them until April. Now in between that time, it was honestly hell. Like I was being disrespected. And the thing is like they weren't doing it to my face, but it was in the actions that they done. I was being belittled, disrespected. I felt like I was not worth anything for the company, which is very unfortunate. And I would say if you ever feel that way, do not stay with a company that's like that because the thing is that they're trying to belittle you so that you will, like, I guess to them humble yourself, but the way that I am naturally is I'm a very opinionated person, and I just don't fall for anything, and I don't agree with everything that anybody does. Like, I do things the way that I know is right in my mind, and if it doesn't benefit me, okay, but I know for sure that I'm not gonna let anybody tell me how to do a job, especially if it's like a simple job, because I've been in management since I was 19. I see the ins and outs of management. I have ran a store before. I've handled the HR management before. I have been the one to fire people, hire people. I've been the one to train people. I've been the one to do everything in the perspective. I have been practically a district manager in training. Like, I have handled stores. Like, handling retail is not a problem. There's always ways to manage, and I feel like you always manage the way that you want to be managed, as well as you treat people the way you want to be treated, and you always make sure you find your replacement so that you can advance. So I already have all that already on my plate, and I already have that in mind. But I feel like since the people I worked with belittled me so much, they didn't even understand it, because I was a great asset to the company. Like, I catch on to things fast. I am very good at customer service. Even if I don't want to deal with people, I'm really good with dealing with people, and I'm also good with dealing with staff. So that's never. Oh, I also know how to do payroll. I also understand HR limits, and I understand everything. Like, I've been in the game for about 10 years, and management is lightweight to me. Like, I can handle it. I just don't like dealing with it, because that's just not my calling. Like, I love to help people, and I love to like develop people. Um, but I just don't like people. And it's not like I don't like people just in general. It's just that I want to them people who come to work, do their job, go home. I've always been like that as long as I can remember. And it's crazy because I talked to my grandma about it, and she agrees as well. Like, she's like, Javon, you always have been one of the people who go into work, you do your job, you leave. So if I can't get a job that I can like go in, do my job, and leave, it's like it's gonna always be some type of friction. Excuse me. So yeah. Um. Again, in my 30s, I really thought that I had everything. I was really expecting to have everything accomplished, and I always really want to have a career. So it was interesting because me starting this job at retail with people where they were treating me like shit practically, um, I even was like, well, Javon, you got to take a L somewhere, and I felt like I needed to take it in my career. So I was just like, this is gonna be hard, but you got to do what you got to do. So around Christmas time, Christmas is always crazy. That's whatever. But I felt like around Christmas time there was a lot of drama about like me not knowing what I'm doing and like practically being belittled. So I was like, I don't know how long this is gonna last, baby. New year, new me. That's what it started looking like, because then I started, applying to other jobs and stuff like that. So I get into my it's like around January. So this is where it's kind of like hits the fan, I would say, in my 30s, because I'm moving out into my own place. Um I was ill prepared to move out. But I had to do what I had to do. And I don't regret anything at all in life, just in general, just to say that out. But I do feel like I wish I took more time to like examine a lot more things and make better decisions on me moving. But again, I did what I needed to do, so it is what it is, whatever, whatever. So the thing is that I moved into my place. My place was okay. It was a studio apartment, nothing too bad. But the thing is that it was dark, and me, I can't live in the dark. Like, it's very. This is probably the darkest I can get, honestly. But the thing is that I couldn't create any content in there because of how dark it was. It's just that it really brought down the mood. And then on top of that, I'm working at a place that I'm getting treated like crap. So it just was a lot going on. And it's crazy because I always told myself like I would never tolerate that. But I feel like since I wanted my 30s to be like perfect, I was like, you just got to deal with it for now. Wait until you get promoted, go from there. But it's always the aftermath. Like, the thing is that, yeah, I would have got promoted or worked towards a promotion, but I would have been working for people I do not feel like they genuinely care about me, or they genuinely want what's best for me. It's what they want for themselves. So we kept that pushing. Um, so the main thing was like, in my 30s, I was like, okay, listen. Around April, I would say around April is when I like got to my breaking point, because February was not the best month of my whole entire life. I promise you, that was like the worst month. My 30s, that February was just horrible. And it just was like spiraling down, 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 down. And then I started feeling like I was starting to become depressed. And then that was all of March. Like, and then I started going to therapy. And then she's trying to get me off of the bridge. But then my therapist told me this, like something which my aunt told me previous before is, when you look for a job, don't worry about the income about it. Usually the money will come along the better that you get, but and then also don't be afraid to start over. And I heard my therapist and my aunt both told me that. So them telling me that really made me put a lot of perspective. So around the end of March, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna look for a job. If I find one, I find one. It was crazy because around December, I met this guy. He was telling me about his job, and it was more on the merchandising side. So I was like, okay. Well, I do love merchandising because I love making stuff look pretty. That's just my thing. Like I just always have like I like things to look a certain way, and I'm very organized when it comes to work. So it's just I love the whole like production of it, if I could say that. And I was like, okay, but like, what's the pay looking like? And I remember having a conversation with him, and he was like, it's gonna be less than what you make here because you are in management. And I was like, dang, like, I don't know if I want to do it. But the thing is that at this point in life, in my 30s, like, I'm not happy. So I need to find some type of way to be happy. And if that means I have to take a risk to do that, baby, it's about time. Like, you're just gonna have to do it. It's like, it's either you do it now or you don't do it at all. And I was just like, listen, I'm 30 now, so I'm trying to get to the goals I need to get to. But the thing is that the thing with age is that it doesn't really matter how old you are because you still can accomplish the goals as you want. It's just not going to be on your timeline. And I feel like in high school, this is what I don't like is that I feel like everybody makes you do these 5-year plans. And I know it's always great to have goals. Okay. It always is great to have goals. But I feel like in school, I don't know. I just feel like they made it like pressure. Like you have to have all this stuff done in 5 years or 10 years. And it's always good to have a goal and something to manifest to. Yes. But when it comes to it not happening, it's kind of like nobody told us what to do. Like when it don't happen. Like nobody gave us a heads up. They were just like, you're just gonna have to figure it out. And then the thing is that since the word has put that in our mind that we can do these goals, but if nobody told us like what to do if we don't reach these goals, it's like, do we collapse? Do we disappear? Like, do we just forget about it? Like, and that's where I think that was a struggle for me because it's like I'm 30 and I don't have any of the goals that I thought I would have done. Honestly, I'm in a whole different state. I mean, I'm back in the original state that I didn't want to be in. And I'm just like, bro, like it's like nothing's coming to me. But if there's a will, there's a way because God is always in the way. So not in a way in a bad way, but he's always there. So what I would say is that I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this chance. I talked to all my friends and I was just like, I think it's time for me to take a risk. And I remember making a TikTok about this or Instagram, whatever. I was like, I'll take a risk. And this risk is gonna be me stepping out of my comfort zone, stepping out of my peace, stepping out of what I usually do just to see if this could make a big difference in my life. So I ended up taking a leap of faith and I ended up quitting a job that I was at, the retail job, and then I went into merchandising. When I tell you it was the best decision that I have made in a really, really long time, I would say it was the best decision I made in a long time. And I was scared. I'm not gonna say a lie to you, say I was not. I was so scared, but I had to put my faith in God, honestly, because that's all I could do. Like I refuse to be depressed again. Like I have been in a depressive state before and it was horrible. Like, girl, would not recommend 0 stars. But I can't do that again. So I was like, this is the only way I can do this is if I take a chance and go by faith and just do what I gotta do. Because apparently these people were put in my life for a reason. I was supposed to meet this guy at my job for a reason, supposed to see him again for a reason. Like things are just happening for a reason. And it's crazy because I told the guy I wanted it. I put in an application. The next day I had an interview and then I got the job the following week. So I mean, God is there. God will make it happen for you. You just gotta pay attention, listen to the signs. So I was like, cool. So this is when life started honestly changing for the most part. Like my mindset was like, okay, now let's get into it. And I made sure that the job that I got is gonna build a career. So I'm still with the job, which I love because it's about to be like a year, which is crazy. And I've been promoted like 3 times because everything has for a reason. So I'm like, cool. Still in my 30s though. Let's go back to that. In April. So April to July to June, I was like, okay, we got a job that we like. It's time to take some more chances. I didn't like the apartment that I was living in, my studio. I loved it. It was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And I was grateful to have it, but it was just too dark. And I could not do it. It was just, no. And then I had to get a second job on top of it because, I had to pay. Since I cut my pay, I gotta get another job to be able to pay for my stuff. So I'm over here like, okay, the next thing I gotta do is get another job. So I got another job, which is rough. I worked at a cleaning service. And the people that worked there were the manager of all of it was just, how can I put this lightly? A cunt. Um, she practically likes to belittle people to make them work harder, which I think is the worst management style. Like, I hate that because what they do is they downplay everything so that you have no choice to like feel bad enough to do things the way that they want them to do it. Even if it isn't protocol and it doesn't make sense or it doesn't really benefit you, that's just how they want. But they'll keep like belittling you so that you have no choice but to do it. And I did not like that management style. Therefore, me and her had altercations multiple amount of times in front of multiple amount of people, in front of multiple amount of employees. Like, cause I don't care. Like at the end of the day, like you're not gonna sit here and disrespect me and think it's gonna be all good. Like, no, I'm a violate you back. Like in a respectful way. And I think that's what I think that's what really shook her is because I read her for filth while still being professional. And she did not like that because I guess she's used to like these gutter bucket people always arguing. Because there was somebody, the first person who quit on her ass, they threw something at her and quit. The second one, she cuts her up and down the street. Like, baby, it's you're the problem, but we're not going to get it. That's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. If y'all want to hear that story time, I will definitely give it to you. Just comment it below because that experience was just, yeah, repeatedly she kept belittling me. I couldn't deal with it anymore. So around my birthday, I was like, okay, we can't keep doing this. This is going to drive you up a wall. So we're in June all the way until August. I finally had got moved into my second place, which was great. That was like the best thing I did. So I got my career, and now I have a place to live that I can film content in, and that I'm happy in. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I told myself going to 31, like, listen, we're not doing this. Like, we're not doing this bullshit. Like, you need to be happy. You deserve to be happy. So I was like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna deal with this job for a little bit longer, try to figure out a way to get promoted and go from there. So this is around my birthday to September. September, it was like my breaking point with her because we were going back and forth every day, and then she wrote like a really nasty message, and I just was like, I don't know if I can do this because my sanity is more important than anything. And I'm 31 now. Like, so my birthday's in August. So now we have hit the threshold. I'm 31. I'm not dealing with this shit. Like, I'm just not. I'm not gonna deal with it no more. Like, I'm not gonna work for people who treat me like shit. I'm not gonna be just belittled because of nothing. And I'm going to advance myself in the way that I need to. So I had to sit down. I did a budget. I was like, listen, we're going to stick to this budget. I was literally writing on the wall at my cleaning job because we did offices. So I wrote on the wall. I was like saying like how much I'm gonna do like my budget and everything like that. If I gotta eat noodles for the rest of the year, like I do not care. Like I cannot until I get promoted. So once I finally quit that job, let me tell you the craziest thing that happened was I got promoted the next day at my merchandiser job. When I told you that shit threw me for a loop, I said, oh, well, if God is not the greatest that he is. And that's when I really started to fall into my faith and I really started being like, listen, like he does everything for a reason, divine timing for a reason. I think I literally had to reach my breaking point for me to understand, like, I think God was like, okay, you finally get it. You finally know that I got your back and you're gonna finally listen to me and just do what I tell you to do and just be patient. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be patient. Meantime, in between time, I was like, this is amazing. Like I've never been like, it's just the feeling of getting promoted when you only have been there for about 5 months. It's crazy to me. Like, and I'm so blessed and so grateful for the whole thing. So around, this is when things started getting better. 31, that's what I'm saying. 31 and 30 was totally different. Like 31, I'm chilling heavy, like, and I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm not really caring about a lot of stuff. Like, right when I hit the 31 threshold, and I finally understand that I need to just worry about me being happy, like, it was a whole different ball game. Like, I really didn't give a shit about anything or anybody that is gonna belittle me or make me feel uncomfortable, or anybody who's gonna jeopardize my happiness. Like, I'm gonna be happy. That's just it. Point blank. Period. There's no argument. That's just how it's gonna go. So, 31 honestly has been great. Like, I feel like I'm taking more chances. I'm just advancing more in life faster than I thought, and it's all because my mindset has changed. Like, I also did spiritual cleanse for the last week of December, and it showed me so many things. Like, and it showed me what I want to do, accomplish, goals I want to reach, and also understanding the patience to reach these goals, and also being proud of where I am just in general, like taking a step back and like really understanding that you're here for a reason, you have a reason on like, and I found my purpose in life. It's genuinely to help people in any way that I can, like, especially when it comes to just life in general. Like, that's why I'm talking about more like anxiety. I talk about that. I talk about depression. I talk about a whole bunch of stuff that people want to, because I just genuinely love helping people, and I thought it had to be involved with work, but it doesn't have to be. Like, this is just something that I just want to do, and that's okay. Like, not everything, not your purpose doesn't have to align with your job. And I think that was a big thing that I learned in 31 is like, it doesn't have to align. Like, you can have it separate. Like, I can work my job and then I can come home, do YouTube or do content that can help other people and have some fun in the middle of it. Of course, like, not all my content has to talking about mental health and all this other stuff. I mean, it happens to all come around into that, but it doesn't have to be. And I just love it. I love the feeling of being 31. And it's so crazy that we all put an age on when we're supposed to be happy. And I think that's a big mistake that we don't really understand, because 30 and flirty, I definitely got that off of a movie that I watched a long time ago. And I feel like I was just so dead set on being happy at 30. And since I wasn't, it really like destroyed me on the inside. And then like everything, because life be life in, and it made it even worse. But um I feel like we should stop doing that. We should stop putting time limits on a lot of stuff. Like, you do the best as you can with what you got going on in life, because life is always going to keep going, and be proud of where you're at. Like, a lot of people can't even say they made it to 30. And I'm over here complaining because I don't have a house. I still have hands, feet. I still have my health. I still have my mental. I'm still thriving. So yeah, I definitely want to talk on that and speak on that, but 30 me, I thank you for everything you've done for me, and I'm proud of what you endured and how you did it. Even though it was a lot of up and downs, you have no regrets. But 31 me and beyond, you're a bad bitch. And I like that for you. And it's about damn time. It's about damn time, Javon, that you have finally really got rooted into your bad bitchness, if I could say that. But yeah, that was the difference between 30 and 31 for me. Yeah. So I hope anybody who listens to this podcast can understand it, and definitely understand that again. Age is just a number at this point. Do what you can do at any age as you can. If you're able to buy a house at 21, 22, I would say kind of wait until you're financially stable. But I mean, it's up to you. And if you can't get a house until your 40s, it's okay. If you haven't got a house until you're 35, or shit, have kids until you're 35 or anything like that, just understand that goals are meant to be reached. I get it. Age goals are meant to be reached. I get it. But life happens. Like, shit happens. Nothing ever is. I feel like I love the quote that they always say is that every time you make a plan, God laughs. Like, he be busting out in laughter when he hears my plans sometimes. And I just be like, listen, bro, I feel like you're trying to be funny. But it's also like, you always got to be ready first before he will bless you. Or honestly, before, because I don't know if who you worship, But I'm saying I feel like the universe will definitely give it to you when you're ready. And then if you, the thing is that the people who do get things too early, it always just ends horribly. So just be grateful for where you're at. Um, and again, age does not define us. It's honestly it's just a number. So live and thrive. I do want to thank you guys for listening. I actually really did like this podcast episode. It was great talking to you guys. And I will see you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe, comment, make sure to share, do all that stuff. And yeah, that's all I got. Peace.